North Carolina's Bank of America Stadium is getting a much-needed renovation. The $800 million project is a joint effort between the City of Charlotte and Tepper Sports and Entertainment, or TPE, who owns the old stadium. Now, to build the stadium, the city didn't raise taxes. Instead, the owner agreed to split the bill. So now, the city council will pay $650 million, while TPE will cover the remaining $150 million, turning the old stadium into a 21st century sports marvel. So, let's discuss it in today's episode of Built Up. After months of negotiations, on June 24, 2024, the Charlotte City Council and Tepper Sports and Entertainment decided to move forward with the proposed $800 million renovation plan for the Bank of America Stadium, home of NFL's Carolina Panthers. For the past 3 decades, this stadium has been home to not only unforgettable football games, but also to music concerts, entertainment venues, and other projects. But now, as Charlotte, North Carolina grows into one of the most attractive entertainment cities in the state, this old stadium will no longer do. They need a world-class stadium to host their world-class events, especially now that they're happening around the clock. And the good news is, to fund this project, the city won't have to raise taxes or impose new ones. They can simply use the tourism tax resources that are supposed to be legally spent on projects that support Charlotte's tourism. The owner and operator of the stadium, Tepper Sports and Entertainment, or TPE, will front around $150 million of the cost, while the City of Charlotte covers the other $650 million. This much-needed renovation will put the stadium on the same level as some of the greatest stadiums in the world, especially since it's going to have all the world-class amenities that a stadium like this should. Plus, with this renovation, they'll keep the Carolina Panthers playing and practicing there for the next 2 decades. While they want to build a state-of-the-art stadium with completely new seats in the entire bowl, this will be just the tip of the iceberg. They also want to change the scoreboard to a more modern one. Just for reference, the current scoreboard is 55 feet by 200 feet. They will couple the new scoreboard with a much better sound system and much needed video signage, making sure the fans are on top of the game while feeling like they're on top of the world in the best seats. Meanwhile, on the outside of the stadium, the exterior video board will allow other people to watch the game from a distance. Inside the stadium, they plan to add a new patio overlooking both the field and skyline. It will be on the 500 level, offering fans a unique experience. The concession areas will offer diversified food options, and they'll have a brand new food program under the influence of the Carolinas. But they won't just improve the stadium on the inside, they'll also enhance the outside with parks, pedestrian pathways, lighting, and other safety features. This will make the area surrounding the Bank of America Stadium like a place you'd want to visit any day of the week. Plus, the new Bank of America Bowl will blend beautifully with the Charlotte skyline by infusing the outside of the stadium with arts and culture elements inspired by the rich culture of the region. For outdoor classroom activities during game day, they plan on building a South Lawn pavilion, which could also double as a gathering spot on non-event days. Plus, the carbon footprint and environmental impact of the stadium will be greatly reduced because they will update the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC systems. And unlike the previous stadium, which was not overly accessible, the new Bank of America Stadium will be. Thanks to improved accessibility all throughout the stadium, fans with a range of disabilities could enjoy a game without worrying about the barriers. Because the project is still being discussed with the authorities, they're expecting construction crews to break ground in 2026. The construction will take place in phases because this will allow the stadium to stay operational throughout the year. When the stadium is free, construction crews will get in and begin phase 1. The TPE doesn't want to disrupt the team members or their fans. While the City Council is still reviewing the renovation proposal, TPE is in the process of rezoning the Carolina Panthers. The sooner they solve these 2 problems, the faster construction can begin and they can map out a timeline. And to most, it seems like yesterday when they opened the stadium and made history. Now, before we move on to the next section, please don't forget to subscribe if you like the video so far. The Bank of America Stadium, also known as Panther Stadium was opened to the public on August 3, 1996, under the name Ericsson Stadium. To construct this 75,000-seater, they spent roughly $500 million in collaboration with Wagner Murray Architects and Populous, while the general contractor was Turner and F.N. Thompson. During the 2024 concert for Carolina, the stadium had a record attendance of 82,193 people. But this classically American stadium, with its bold design, doesn't use its artificial Field Turf Pro for football only. They also use it to host the Atlantic Coast Conference, the Big Ten Conference, the ACC Championship game, and the annual Duke's Mayo Bowl. Surprisingly, the Bank of America Stadium has been constantly renovated over the years, with the first renovation happening in 2007. The next one followed in 2014 and lasted until 2017. And then there were two renovations, one in 2019 and the other in 2020. On top of that, the stadium has kept expanding throughout its history. Overall, the Bank of America Stadium expanded 5 times. However, this wasn't enough to keep up with Charlotte's growth as one of the best sports and entertainment destinations in the US. Despite being one of the oldest stadiums in the NFL, it's also one of the most active buildings in both the NFL and MLS. And it's not just football. This stadium hosts roughly 40 events every year, and people flock to it from every corner of the nation. And beginning in 2018, Tepper Sports and Entertainment built the first year-round programming for the stadium. They took the NFL stadium as a base and worked around it, adding 18 more soccer events, giant concerts worthy of filling a stadium, international soccer games, and high school football. And we didn't even mention the over 100 corporate and community events taking place every year. Because of this, the stadium has generated about $1.1 billion in economic impact on Charlotte in 2023 alone. The goal of this renovation isn't to build a completely new stadium, but to modernize the decrepit and keep the iconic. This type of renovation aims to keep the spirit of the Bank of America Stadium and its location, while offering a world-class experience for all the attendees. However, the timing of this decision caused some people to question the renovation decision. The authorities assured the locals that the Tepper Sports and Entertainment Company will align its goals with the goals of the Charlotte Business Inclusion Program. However, when they asked the people to tell Charlotte what they think on a social media post, the majority of people showed their disapproval of the project. They believe the money should be used for other things, like creating new opportunities for local businesses and protecting the city financially, instead of building a new stadium for David Tepper, a billionaire hedge fund manager. One of the council members, Dimple Ajmera, felt that the decision was a little rushed. We're talking about $650 million. I know you said you don't want us to feel rushed, but I feel like we're being rushed. So I just don't understand the urgency of having to make a decision on June 24th and having a public hearing on the same day. Of course, this doesn't take into account that Tepper will fund a big chunk of the renovations himself, and the fact that this stadium brings about $1.1 billion of economic output for the region. That only benefits the locals. Now, you can understand why the public was a little hesitant and reserved about the project, especially since North Carolina was just hit by one of the biggest hurricanes in US history. As Helene devastated the Appalachian region on September the 27th, it caused over $60 billion in damage. Even though the talks for the new stadium began in the summer, before the ravaging hurricane, some people think the local government should spend their money on disaster relief instead of a new stadium. That being said, this new stadium renovation will open a new chapter in Charlotte's sports history, placing their renovated stadium among some of the best in the country. So, do you think the Panthers will win more games when the new stadium is finally completed? Tell us in the comments down below. Now, here's another video mega project enthusiasts enjoyed watching. Bye for now.